Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yona of the Dawn, chapter 233. When we last left our heroes, Yoon and Val arrived at the Koka base camp in the Earth Tribe lands. Yoon realized, to his immense shock, that Hawk was alive, and Val was sort of taken into custody/medical care in the camp. Meanwhile, over in Kai, Choggle and Mei-Nyan arrive at the South Kai base camp. Choggle is just intensely intimidating, but also, rallies the troops and increases morale, but also is very clearly, keeping Mei-Nyan in a little cage, as Kaji is starting to suspect. And also announces Val as a traitor, and, says anyone who spares Val will also be a traitor. And if someone who is not a general kills Val, they will become a general. Meanwhile, Yona is trying to get a rescue mission going for Mei-Nyan with Val and Yoon and whoever else they might need. Kaisuk and Suwon are pushing back against it. And all of that is interrupted by the arrival of reinforcements from Jing. We've not seen for a while. I did a little bit of, refresher research on Jing, but I've forgotten the exact, beats of that arc. Enough for characters and not much else. So with that said, let's dive right on into chapter 233, Making an Entrance. And we have Koren and Vold and Algira, I think was one of them. Fuck, what was the other one's name? I just looked this up. I just looked all of their names up. Fuck. Is that Yotaka, I think? Yeah, Yotaka is the one behind. That's an embarrassingly long time to look that up. The opponents we have crossed swords with in the past have become the swords we'll fight with in the present. Chapter 233, Making an Entrance. So yeah, Jing is here. Yona goes out to greet her. Queen Koren! And Algira waves, Yona-nyan, it's been a while. I thought that getting reinforcements would be difficult. To think you'd be the one coming. And Koren cuts her off. Just call me Koren. It's been a long time, Yona. The matter with Gobi has been settled. It's all thanks to you guys. Didn't Gobi get, didn't that get settled by Yona? I thought Gobi, ran off to Kai for a bit before getting killed, right? At the start of this whole alliance arc. It's been a while, but I think that's right. This time, our Xing kingdom will lend you its strength. Thank you, Koren. And the troops announce, Xing Kingdom has joined our army. And Lily's father, whose name I always forget, so is it Jungi? I think it's Jungi. So this is the rumored Queen of Jing. And Princess Yona is already on friendly terms with her. And Kyoga is also with him, just watching. And Hawk calls out, Algira, Vold. And Algira calls out, Haknyan. And Vold is a simple, I give you my salutations. And then Hande notices Yotaka. Oh, you're that Jing guy. Yotaka, right? Are your wounds okay now? I don't quite remember the exact details of really most of the Jing arc in general. I might need a reread of the Jing stuff pretty soon. I'm already in the middle of my rewatch for Book of Circus and Butler now that Doll's back into play. So I might have Yona up when I'm done with that. But anyway, Hande says to... No, Taewoo. I always get Taewoo and Hande confused. I'm constantly getting Taewoo and Hande confused. Right? This is Taewoo. Yes, Taewoo. One day I'll get those two straight. I don't know why I never do. Anyway, Taewoo tells him, thanks for the reinforcements. It's super reassuring. And Yotaka just thinks, I'm glad I came. And Kaisuk is also watching on to have Queen Koren, who is usually so difficult to handle, tell you such generous things. About Yona, of course, as Kaisuk is really, throughout this whole arc, has been realizing the sort of power that having Yona in play gives them. From a sort of morale standpoint. And Yona calls out, Suwon, Advisor Kaisuk, the reinforcements are here. Let's go. Yona's alright, we have someone to defend the Earth Kingdom, let's go get Mei-Nyan back. And Suwon isn't quite big on that. Please come inside. And then we cut to Val. who's taking off his bandages. We see he has like a permanent claw mark scar heading towards his eyes. But he notes, I can see fine. And Hawk sees him, oh, it looks like your eye isn't impaired. Yours were tattered, so here, take these new clothes from Yoon. He hands him like a bunch of clothes. Thanks. And Hawk puts the knife down, and give me back your knife too. And Val just like stares at him, and as Val gets stressed, he goes on, I have to leave. If I stay any longer, I won't be able to catch up with Choggle. Hold on. For a second I thought it might have been Hawk, but no, it definitely is Val. Once I'll be held captive at Phoenix Palace, I'll be out of reach. I think that might be once Mei-Nyan, like the eye there doesn't feel like it makes sense, because Val's not going to Phoenix Palace. It's Mei-Nyan. So I feel like that's just a bit of an error. But Hawk stops him about that, though. Listen, there is one possibility. The way I see it, Choggle, and we cut back to Suwon's tent, where Suwon's having the same conversation with the generals. Choggle might be at an encampment in South Kai right now. And Yona questions an encampment? He does not command on the battlefield, but from the fact he infiltrated Hiryu Castle and set it on fire himself. He is quite an imperious character who likes to hold center stage. If so, I thought he might stop by an encampment to boast about it. Which, is exactly what he did. Then if you're right, Mei-Nyan, and we slam back to Val. She's also at the encampment? And Hawk tells him, might be. And Val thinks, I still can make it in time. But Hawk continues, but naturally, this is a soldier's den, and he shortly informed them about your betrayal. If the attacker makes a single mistake, it will only make the situation worse. And our lovely green dragon shows up, just to scare the shit out of Hawk. So this is about an attack. Should I go then? And Hawk looks at him, huh? Of course not. Why? Aren't you and Yona dear going? Your injuries are quite considerable too. I can move, but the same cannot be said for you. Well, I just thought I'd be more suited to... So Jayhawk... words. Jayhawk responds, well, I just thought I would be more suited than you at attacking discreetly. And Kija runs in. He's right. I'll help too. I'll sober them up. But Zeno pushes back. White Dragon, among all of mankind, you're the least suited for this task. And Shinos also raising his hand. All the dragons want to join in to go rescue Mei-Nyan, but Hawk pushes them back. No. You guys were bedridden until just now. And Val also chimes in. Sorry, but we can't afford such a burden. I mean, Val, you were also bedridden until just now. And Hawk sort of laughs as Jayhawk protests. Hey, who are you talking about? Let's say, what if you had eyes able to locate what you search for? What if you had a body that wouldn't tire out no matter how long you run? Or a superhuman arm that could destroy anything? Wouldn't you want a man so dazzling and beautiful it blinds your eyes? And Val just jabs. Except for the man, it sounds kind of nice. And Jayhawk just falls over. I got rejected! And Hawk questions, why would you forget to mention your dragon leg? Is that by Jayhawk theory? Because that feels like what that is. He was too focused on the beauty and not the fact that he has superpowers. But Val questions a dragon leg? Yes. And Kija goes on, we are the 4 dragons. And then we cut back to Suwon's tent with Karen. Yona, if you're going on an assault, I'll let you have my 5 stars. And that was not what Yona was really expecting there. What? You need the best of the best with you, right? And Yotika and Vold all sort of both glow at that as Vold notes the best of the best. They have the idiosyncrasies of freedom, obstinacy, and being a natural airhead. But they will do the job. We see, blanking. The cat guy, whose name I definitely remember. The Algira as Freedom. I want to go see Shinanyan and the others quick. Obstinacy. as Yodaka. I wonder who's the stubborn one. No way am I Vol natural airhead is the no way am I obstinate? I may look like this, but I'm surprisingly flexible. But Yona moving on with a quick gag, but aren't the 5 stars your guards? I have more. Originally, I would have wanted to ride there and bring back Choggle's neck, and Vol's no. And Yona turns to Suwon, and Suwon takes a moment and looks at her. Understood. Please rescue Lady Mei-Nyan as promptly as possible. Do not pursue her too far, and retreat immediately if you fail. And Algira just is, so confident here. Alright, leave it to me. But Vold pushes back. Algira, listen to what they say. And Yona takes in Suwon's trust there. As the rest of the gang leaves, leaving just Suwon and Kaisuk in the tent. And Kaisuk notes, we should have at least stopped Princess Yona. And Suwon counters, you seem rather concerned about her well-being, Advisor Kaisuk. Quite unexpected. I am only giving my composed opinion. And Suwon responds, I get it. I was just thinking it was time for the next stage as well. Okay. That's an interesting little line. I don't know what that's about. I mean, we know Kaisuk desperately wants to, find a way to trap Yona with Koka, to not really give her the ability to leave, due to the sort of mass popular support she has amongst the people, which is just repeating myself there, but, whatever. But Suwon, we've seen, is quite sort of blinded by its affection, or not quite blinded, but is sort of, being led to some degree by his affection for Yona. And so I don't see Suwon really using Yona right now. And yet I think we're meant to read that next stage line as Suwon's line? I don't know, I'm curious what that's about. But we cut to the encampment of the South Kai Empire Army. As Kaji is at Haitan's tent. General Haitan, may I come in? Oh, it's you. And Kaji enters, and we see Haitan and Ra'an both sitting together. I imagine all 3 of them reeling from the idea of Vol's betrayal. But Kaji notes, you're together. And Haitan, yeah. There's just no way I can believe Vol betrayed us. And Ra'an agrees, same here. He's never acted as such until now. And, oh right, because Choggle also said that Vol was dead, or probably dead. And his death, on top of that, I can't grasp what happened at all. Which, like I've been saying, the 3 of them, all to some degree, feel poised for a betrayal. Kaji for his affection for Mei-Nyan, Haitan with his affection for Vol, Ra'an with his respect for Hawk is the least likely, but I can still see it. And Vol sits with them, not Vol, Kaji sits with them. Do you happen to know something about what happened to Lady Mei-Nyan? And Ra'an questions, didn't she come back safely? She did, but I saw something. What do you mean? I only briefly caught a glimpse of her, but it was like her face was lifeless, and her hair was also cut short. She must have really gone through some unspeakable horror in Koka Kingdom. And so, that's sort of our first moment, as Kaji is starting to, work out everything going on, that something is not quite right here. And Ra'an points out, but Sir Hawk said she was not in prison and that she was well fed. But Kaji's till this point is a loyal soldier. Do you trust the enemy's words? And Ra'an, who knows Hawk, who knows him through the fields of battle kind of way, that man wouldn't tell such lies. And Kaji's a little affected by Ra'an's fierceness there. As Haitan goes on, Mei-Nyan was a good friend of Vol. His death must have greatly affected her mind. Yeah, I mean, Mei-Nyan did affect Vol's mind in his betrayal, but not a death. But Kaji comments, I understand that feeling. If this is the case, it raises even more the question of why Vol would betray us. And Haitan is starting to realize something. I see. Lady Mei-Nyan might know something. So yeah, all three of them are like trying to get to the bottom of this, which will all put them in conflict with Choggle. It's the sort of conflict at the heart of the Kaisai that I'm really excited to see play out. But Kaji goes on, I tried to negotiate countless times to get to know about the situation, but nothing came of it. It's difficult to meet with her as of now. But Lady Mei-Nyan, and then I think this is Ra'an cutting him off, General Kaji, and Kaji goes on, Lady Mei-Nyan is surely tired. Oh no, this is Ra'an's line. Wait until we return to the Phoenix Palace to inquire about this affair once again. I don't think that's the best idea. Kaji protests, and Haitan definitively cuts him off. Kaji, for now, just wait. And Kaji stands up and leaves. Pardon me. And we cut to outside, at Choggle's personal tent. As Kaji, observes it from the outside. The tent of His Highness Choggle. Lady Mei-Nyan is inside. I want to see it for myself by any means. And he notes someone exiting the tent. Someone came out. This is... and then someone calls out, squad leader. The squad leader of, like, the doctors or something, I guess? Because it's Kaji who calls to him. General Kaji. Squad leader. What are you doing in His Highness Choggle's tent? But the squad leader tells him, please pardon me. I mustn't speak of anything I see and hear inside the tent. Okay. So, let's see how Kaji gets out of this one. This is not a problem. I was also summoned by His Highness and was told to bring soju with me later. He's trying to, like, sort of, act like he has a reason to sort of get a pity answer out of the leader. I can't afford any misstep, so we'd like to know if there was something I should make note of beforehand. I see, so that's what you meant. Right. Please don't hand any soju to Lady Mei-Nyan. And Kaji questions why not. It is not recommended with her injuries, and she seemed quite tired. And now, though, I don't think just Kaji freaks out over the injuries, but I don't think that's going to be enough to really turn Kaji against Choggle. But the leader goes on, I'm in charge of bringing her decoction, which I guess is some kind of medicine. Let's see if a Google search helps. Some sort of liquor that has to deal with, medicinal liquor is what it seems to be. But to be honest, entering that tent again makes my legs shiver. Which is setting up a bit of, Kaji. I think that's gonna sort of show to Kaji that maybe the real threat is not from Koka, but from Choggle. Squad leader. Yes. And, then we see who is almost certainly Kaji in the squad leader's clothes entering the tent again. I'm here to bring to Lady Mei-Nyan her decoction from the medical team. Go. And he enters the main tent. Excuse me. And it's empty. And it is Kaji, who notes, no one is here. And if we flash back to that earlier conversation, squad leader, while we're at it, let me bring her that decoction for you. Which, is nice. The squad leader just sees that as his boss being nice. I said this and snuck in, but will I be able to get out? And then he peeks behind one of the tent flaps and just sees Mei-Nyan lying there, like, barely conscious. Lady Mei-Nyan! And he runs over to her, pulling off his mask, revealing himself. Lady Mei-Nyan! And he looks over her in shock. Is this really Lady Mei-Nyan? She's in such bad shape. Aren't these wounds on her legs quite serious too? Which I'm curious if, like, how much of this is the mental anguish of, like, I think it's one part mental anguish from Choggle, because she was fucking traumatized. But also, could the Crimson Illness also be, like, getting worse in her? I think it's largely a psychological thing. I think that makes for a better story. But, like, just being with Choggle again is so fucking traumatizing that it leads her like that. But also, the illness is always in play. And she recognizes him. Kaji. And Lady Mei-Nyan, or Kaji calls Lady Mei-Nyan, and Mei-Nyan cuts him off. You can't come here. Hurry. Out here. And Kaji Kaji is trying to help. What on earth happened? Your legs. It's all right. Give up on me. She like closes her eyes, and Kaji has like one opportunity to get answers, and he's not wasting it. Why did General Val betray us? And that shoots Mei-Nyan's eyes like wide open. And she like grabs onto his sleeve and pulls herself up. In her desperation to clear Val's good name. Val was only trying to protect me. He did nothing wrong. Val died because of me. And that might just be the beat that solidifies Kaji's path to betraying Chagol. Val. And she cries into his chest. And Kaji, with tears in his eyes, flashes back to seeing Mei-Nyan and Val's friendship when they were younger. General Val could laugh and bicker with Lady Mei-Nyan as an equal. I was jealous. That man died protecting Lady Mei-Nyan. Protecting? From what? And there is Chagol looming over Kaji. So maybe Kaji won't end up having the chance to really betray Chagol, as Chagol threatens, "What are you doing with my cat, mouse?" As he spotted the darkness, he was spotted back. Continues in issue 24, November 18th. Okay, so this is one of those chapters you can really easily divide in half, with the stuff in Coca being largely lighthearted. You know, it's a bit of reintroduction. It's not much of a reintroduction to the Jing gang, given that like we barely get much out of them, like personality wise. But it's more setting up the attempt to go rescue Mei-Nyan from Coca. It's a bit of setup. There's some good comedy. I love the Jaeha and Val bit. When Val just rejects him and Hawk is like, you didn't mention the important part there. That's a really cute bit. And I think I am definitely going to go back and like spend some time rereading Jing, because it's been a while since I've read Jing. Like early COVID while. And I would benefit from the refresher, I think. But all in all, that's not really where like the great part of this chapter comes from. It's setting up a hopefully very good storyline in the very near future. But the real heart of this chapter is back in South Kai. Is, you know, the generals gathering and starting to sort of realize the holes in Chagol's story, that there's just something that doesn't add up. Haitan and Ra'an for the moment are too loyal to really question, as their primary loyalties are to Chagol, even if their bonds with two Chagol enemies might lead to them betraying him down the line. Kaji, in contrast, his main goal has always been to Mei-Nyan. And so, of course, it's Mei-Nyan who defies Chagol... not Mei-Nyan. Of course, it's Kaji who defies Chagol's orders and tries to get to the bottom of what's going on by talking to Mei-Nyan directly. And very slowly starts to piece together that something is not right. You know, first from, like, the fear that the doctor tells him, and then that, you know, how did she get these injuries? What happened to cause the injuries? Why would Val... If Val is a traitor, why would he die protecting her? But before he can quite work all of that out, Chagol is there. And things all of a sudden ain't looking too great for Kaji. I'm very excited to see what comes of this, because Kaji is kind of the character right now. I'm really excited to see how he grows. Just like, you know, I feel like we're on the cusp of a big thing with this character. And I want to see how the story plays that out going forward. And also, just like Chagol as a literal, like, you know, emblem of trauma and PTSD and, like, fear, he's so good at it. Like, this little bit of him looming over Kaji isn't quite as good as what we got in, like, the Burning Castle stuff, as he, like, you know, oozed over Mei-Nyan. There's, like, the shadows and all that. But it still is really good, and I'm excited to see how that plays out going forward. It's some good stuff here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see what comes next. So So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes it happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!